why we really fall in love. Whenever I ask 10 people about the definition of love, I get 15 answers, at least. But basically, all of them have a rather strong romantic aspect in the definition, like the one and only, or butterflies in the stomach, cloud 7, and so on. I do not subscribe to this point of view. I have a rather unconventional, we might even say unromantic definition of love. Let me explain and show you how you can use this for your own benefit to have a lasting and fulfilling relationship. I believe at the end of the day, love is nothing else but the need to fulfill emotional needs. Let me repeat. Love is nothing else than the need to fulfill emotional needs. For instance, I have the feeling I'm not good enough, or I'm afraid of being alone, or there's social pressure from my family. When will you finally get married and we can have a grandchild? Or simply, for instance, I'm an introvert but would like to be more extrovert. And then I have two options. I can develop myself, learn to become more extrovert, or much simpler, I fall in love with someone who is already extrovert. And the first weeks or months work beautifully. But then, well, we all know what's happening much too often. Some 30 plus years ago, I was in a relationship. And one evening she came home and said, "Peter, I have to tell you, some months ago, I met someone and I fell in love with him. We have to separate." That's life, so we separate. She moved to the other guy, and 3 months later, not 3 years, 3 months later, they separated. It took me 1 year until I was able to talk to her about this, and we're still good friends, by the way, very good friends, actually. And then I asked her, what the heck has happened? And she told me the following. She was the eldest kid of 8 siblings. Her family, father on the countryside, very conservative. And at that time, in the 60s of last century, if the first kid was not a boy, it was a disaster for the father. All his so-called friends were saying, "Oh, you didn't get reduced a boy, what's wrong with you?" So he never gave her the love she or any child needs. And then later on, she met someone who one way or the other reminded her of her father, and she thought, subconsciously of course, well, I never got love from my father, but maybe I will get it from this couple. And of course, it didn't work out. We subconsciously try to compensate an inner deficit, or what we consider a deficit, with and via someone else. And of course, absolute unrealistic expectations of a relationship and on the other person, and make ourselves, our inner balance, dependent on others. To fill our inner emotional deficit, to give us love, usually the love we didn't get enough in childhood. We expect from others love, ideally unconditional love, setting conditions ourselves, of course. And we are made to believe that this is love. And then reality kicks in. You know, always saying there is the level of expectations and there is the level of reality. And the difference we call frustration. So the question is, how can we reduce the frustration? And there are basically two ways. I either can reduce my expectations or I can try to change reality. Let me ask you, what do most people prefer to do? Reduce the expectations or change reality, meaning, for instance, the other partner? I'm afraid the answer is quite obvious. There are two ways to reduce the frustration. I'm always saying that everyone should be obliged to make a kind of license, like a driver's license, at a young age, ideally, which confirms that I've been able to live alone on my own for 1 or 2 years and fully enjoy it. Because only then we are able to go into relationships without the wrong expectations. Then the relationship is the icing the cake for a fulfilled life, and not the condition. So what can you do? Again, it is quite simple. Take a walk, have something to take notes, sit down somewhere in nature, and write down, what are my real emotional needs I'm trying to fulfill through another person? It may take 2 or 3 walks, but these might be the most important and beautiful walks in your life. And as always, feel free, get in touch with me if you want me to support you in this area.